right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Rise Urban Nation. I got a special guest in the building, and I gotta give it a big shout out because we was just talking about my brother that I call King Kofi out there who made this connection happen. I got this gentleman. For those who know him, it's Stephen the some, it's Stephen the others. How do you make the distinguish again? Give me how we make the distinguish.
Oh yeah, no problem. So I'm glad you asked. So just a short story here. Growing up, family and friends called me Steve and Stephen because my name, the way it's spelled, is spelled like Stephen, Stephen. And when they made fun of me, they would say, "Oh, Stephen, blah blah blah." Or they'd call me like Stefanovich, just like kind of like. Like, you know how kids do, man.
Yeah.
They have crazy names, because we get at each other, right? And I used to be kind of like worked up, like, how are they going to just like diss my name and blah, blah, blah. But as I got older and I found out the meaning behind the name and why my mother named me Stephen. Well, first of all, I was named after my father, but I researched the name. So I'm the second, I'm a junior, but I actually took the time to research my name, what it meant, and it's a name that comes from the Bible. Yes, Stephen in the Bible. In America, we say Stephen. In other countries, they say Stephan or Stefan, or Esteban. So this year we're
As if you
heathen,
got your
so
Spanish on Esteban.
Yeah, exactly. Esteban. So long story short, Stephen in the Bible was the first martyr for the gospel. He was the first one willing to die for what he believed in. And at that time, it was in the time where he was standing up for his faith. Being a Christian was a very controversial thing because the messages they were preaching about loving your enemy, right? Forgiving your enemies for them doing you wrong. Believing in something bigger than the government and money and what you think society should be like in terms of a good person, but being part of a spiritual family, right, and living in a way where all people prosper. And so back in the time of Paul, and when rebellions were going on with Jews and the Roman government. It was a very, again, controversial thing to be a Christian. And at that time, Christians were hated, but they weren't being killed. And then again, Stephen, because he believed in his faith, he was willing to put himself out there in front of, anybody. And so he put himself out in a group of men who were basically just disrespecting Christians and what they stood for. And they had a ban against Christians speaking out. He said, well, you know what? I'm not going to, follow any of that because what I believe in, I'm willing to die for it. And they ended up stoning him alive. And so he's the first Christian recorded in the Bible. There were other Christians that died for the faith before him, but he was the first one recorded in public dying for his faith. And so I looked at that like, man, you know what? Now that I understand better what the name means, I'm going to start having people call me Stephen because there's a meaning behind this name. And now a lot of my friends and family still call me Stephen. It's all good. Yeah. But as I got older, I would first, when people ask me what my name is, I tell them Stephen. Some just go right back to Stephen, but then I make it a point to say, no, my name is Stephen because I want to change the meaning of my name because I'm different, because I'm changing. As I learn different things, I don't look at myself the same way. So I'm not going to let other people, look at me in a certain light. Well, they can if they want, but as I grow again, I put that back out because again, name, it can be really powerful. So I just took Steve and then put it back to its original meaning, which a lot of people don't know unless they ask me, why you do that? Then I get a chance to tell them the story.
Man, I love that. I love that. Thanks for sharing that story with
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
And now that you shared that with me going forward, we gonna go by Stefan.
Stefan. Either one works.
No, I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing.
Either
So we'll
one
go by Stefan,
either one works.
which is the evolution of Stephen right there.
Yes, sir.
And I think
Yes,
we're
sir.
always evolving as
Yes.
you
Mhm.
know, I find myself still to this day always evolving, and hopefully, you know, everybody's always evolving, because if you're not, then you're staying
Yeah.
stagnant, and then I don't know what is life without no growth. I mean, it's just
Yo,
blah.
man, Prince changed his name, remember? Yeah,
Yeah, I remember.
when he
What
was
he,
famous at the top of his, his
yeah,
craft, he's like, "Look, that's not me no more.
man.
This
McCoy was
symbol represents me."
the artist formerly known as, and then the symbol came apart. So yeah, I love that. I love that. So I know we're gonna go into a rich discussion about your career and everything else, but for
Yeah.
the people who don't know who you are,
Mhm.
who
Yeah.
is Stefan? And I know that's a
Who
deep
is Stefan?
question, and you can go as far and as wide as you want with that question, but who is the
I
man,
love
the
the way you
myth,
put
and the
that,
legend?
man. A myth for sure, a legend, I don't know about that.
Hey, you sowing seeds of greatness, no pun intended. So there's got to be some legendary stuff going on.
Yeah, yeah, man. You know what? I'm trying to make it legendary, no doubt. That's for real. I am um letting God show me how to do this thing on a legendary scale.
Hmm.
And I'm learning along the way. You gotta get the small down first. You gotta do the small things really good first, so that
Hmm.
as you grow, you have those habits and standards of excellence.
Hmm.
Um, but not to digress, because I want to answer that question. Who am I?
Yeah.
I my purpose, my passion, and my reason why I believe I'm put on this earth is to be a light, first of all, in this world of darkness,
Hmm.
and to attack everything that I feel passionate about with the highest standard of excellence. So it has to be great, because that's the way I will get the best out of me, or
Hmm.
that thing will get the best out of me. And as I work towards creating greatness, I myself become greatness, because I have to become different in the way I see the project, see the work, see my plan. That means going out, researching,
Hmm.
talking to people, trying, failing, and keep nabbing at it till it gets that inertia and it starts to go
Mm.
forward. And as things start to go forward again, now that's where I can create that confidence again. That's God is showing me how to pursue and create, the things that can be uh, can be awesome in your life. And it's a pursuit. It is a daily pursuit to find out how good I can be, because that is the thing again that pulls me out of bed, knowing like
Mhm.
tomorrow I got something that's very important and I need the
Mhm.
energy, I need the focus. So uh, I can't allow myself to be pulled down by too many things, and
Mm.
and you know when you're doing things and you're just going through the motion,
Mhm.
that's a dangerous place, I found personally, because one, you're just going through the motions, you're not
Mhm.
getting into it. I found that when I get into something, that's actually where I see growth and progress. And again, just thinking about my
Mhm.
purpose. So the seed for greatness. If you guys see the logo, you see the plant that's coming out of the brain. That's the
Yeah.
vision, right? That's
Right.
the thought. So once it gets into the brain and you move on your thoughts, that's where your purpose starts to form. It's not going to come to you all at once, but once you basically move on your beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
let your beliefs move you. Like it, get to the point where you literally feel it, and you get so emotional where you can't back off it. Even if you tried,
Yeah.
it's going to pull you back in. And so again, like you asked me, who am I? Well, I my purpose is to be a light and to use different things to express it. And right now, so many people, including myself, have forgotten like how many gifts we have already inside of us. And that's the whole purpose why I've created Seed4Greatness, is to remind me that I am the gift, and that I
Mm-hmm.
constantly need to um, cultivate that gift, just like a farmer cultivates his garden. The
Yeah.
garden is right in here. And
Yeah.
so understanding, like wearing this, I can't get away from who I am.
Mm.
And that doesn't just mean like business and making money and succeeding in different areas of your life. That means everything. It means your own attitude about how you your attitude about yourself, your attitude, and how you relate to people that are in your circle, whether it's business
Mm-hmm.
colleagues, whether it's your own family. I found like my own family sometimes is the toughest people to get along with. But you know what? I have a purpose even with them to be positive, you know?
Mm.
And if I can't be positive, at least be, dependable, where I can, or be a source of, encouragement, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Yeah. And so
Yeah.
again, it's just being responsible for everything around me, because we want to sometimes write off our family because they know us, they get on our nerves. But how powerful it is when you can get your family members, to
Mm-hmm.
buy into you because of what you believe in, and you're walking in your belief.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with intentionality. I love all of that. There was so many parallels in there as you were talking. Like, I was like, in case you guys haven't noticed by now, he is the founder and the CEO for Seed4Greatness, and I'm gonna tell him to talk about that in just a second. But just within your whole soliloquy, like I was like, oh man, he said he's a light, and when you think about a seed and planting and growing, like there's that photosynthesis phase where it needs the light, right? And then you said
Absolutely, yeah.
cultivating, and how a farmer has to cultivate and till, the land and everything for the seed to grow, and how you truly are a seed. Even in the way you speak, you are a seed for greatness. Your purpose is to be a seed for greatness, to be a light and be a cultivator for those, not only for yourself but for
Mhm.
others. And it just shows in all that. Now,
Oh, thank
how
you.
did your attention and focus get on this project Seed for Great? Like, how did it come to you? Like, give me the
Yeah.
backstory. Like,
Mhm.
I did,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious, and I know everybody else is curious too.
Okay, yeah, I'll jump right into it. So being completely transparent and honest with the audience, this Seed4Greatness project came out of some extreme hardships and failures.
Mm,
Extreme to the point where I literally didn't like myself, and I didn't
mm,
care no more. I
mm,
literally did not care about myself. And I was never at a point in my life where I've actually felt like that, and it felt real.
mm,
Um, and I had to do something to attack this, because it was attacking me like a bad virus that I couldn't run from.
yeah.
Um, so I was desperate, man. I was desperate to find some light, to find some happiness. And what I did, what happened was, this happened like 2019, 2020. It's
Mm,
interesting because where I'm at right now in Boise, Idaho.
yeah.
So me and my girlfriend, we had a really bad split at that time. And
Mm,
so when I moved out, I uh I was not only like brokenhearted over the relationship, which just like totally crushed me,
mm,
but I had there's reasons for that, and a lot of those reasons I actually own up to, because I played a big part in it. So I was
yeah.
blocking my own happiness. So that's one thing. Other thing was I had my health was not in a good place, both physically and mentally. It was just not good. And I'm a fitness fanatic. I love
Yeah.
working out, staying in shape, eating good, all that stuff. And so that was like kind of shot going to hell. Was hurting pretty bad financially, just because when we broke up, I had to kind of start all over financially and kind of get things together because again, like I wasn't taking care of business. I wasn't managing my life real well.
Mm-hmm.
And so three important areas that we actually all need to pay attention to, I wasn't doing well in. And so it came to a halt. It literally like came crashing down on me. And I I prayed one night and said, God, this you got to help me out because I can't keep going like this. Literally, this is gonna kill me. And from there, I would go and I would watch probably, I'm not even exaggerating, 15 to 18 hours, maybe longer, 20 hours of just any kind of positive video I could find on YouTube, just anything and everything. And about the second weekend, I heard a message from Joel Osteen, and his message was, everyone has a seed of greatness in them. They're just one thought away from changing their life. Watching his message that day, and it was a rebroadcast, so it wasn't even a live broadcast. And I had watched Joel Osteen before, but at that moment, I really needed to hear that message. And so he not only talked about how God has put everything in us, right? Put everything in us that we need, but he gave some great illustrations about how people were like on their last leg, literally, but they came up with one idea and moved on it, and then their whole life changed. And so, again, hearing that message really made me go like, if that can work for them, I need to go find out for me. And so I wasn't even thinking of Seed4Greatness. At that time, I went and I started researching nature, and I started researching seeds and how they grow, the environment they need, what a farmer or a planter needs to do to really, again, cultivate. I'm going to use that word again, cultivate and tend to it, give it the attention it needs, right? And then even then, it still needs help with the right temperature, right amount of sunlight, right? So, again, it just doesn't stop. And so between Joel Osteen's message, me researching nature, and then also coming up with literally like 100 different words that I wanted to use for me that I could just look at each day, that I felt like, if I have these words in front of me, okay, you know what? This will give me reminders. And then I came up with the idea, you know what? I want to make a t-shirt for myself because I'm tired of looking at Nike. I'm tired of looking at Adidas because for me, they don't mean anything anymore. They're great brands, but they don't have meaning. I want something that has meaning for me. I need something that reflects of what I'm about in my life. And so I created a t-shirt for me to wear just to feel good about myself. And I literally wrote Seed4Greatness on it. And it wasn't nothing fancy, nothing like this. No.
Yeah.
Nothing like this. And then when I made 2 t-shirts, and I would wear them every other day, and I felt great in it. And then one day someone asked me, what does that mean? And it just like came out of nowhere. I said, well, for me, it's like following my purpose, finding out what my purpose is. And they're like, oh my God, I want one, man. Are you making those? I was like, no, not really. This is just for me. Yeah, you know what? You should really think about making that. And so a few people said that. So I was like, maybe there's something here. But I wasn't thinking about t-shirt brand or nothing like that. I was just thinking like, okay, this would be kind of cool to hand out to people. And that's really what I was doing. And then when I thought about it, I said, well, you know what? I probably should get a logo. So I knew my younger brother's friend did logos. I
Mm-hmm.
got in contact with him, and this is where things really started to pick up and move because
Mm-hmm.
he's a graphic artist. So what he did with me was he gave me like literally 7 to 10 questions that I had to answer on thoughts and ideas of why I want, what I wanted to create,
Yeah.
where I wanted to go, and I was like, okay. So I answered all these questions, and then he gave me another set of questions. So I was getting a little irritated because I was like, man, dude, just create my stuff. But but see, he's such a perfectionist, and he's like such a he pays it, close attention to the details. He really wanted to get the essence of it. So we were going back and forth for about a month and a half, man. Then he created some mock logos for me, and then he told me, okay, you know what? There's 6 here, but don't get excited about all of them because you can only choose one. If you try to do more than one, this is not going to work. The problem was I liked all 6. I loved all 6. So we had to recruit a few people to like help us out and really pinpoint like which ones popped to them. So we got some people that were not tied to the project and just said, hey, look, just give us your opinion. Out of these 6, which 2 would you choose? And so we got it down to 2. And then we just went with what the majority of the people chose in the 2. And so that's how we were able to come up with this one. But it was a process, man.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Like, hey,
No.
anything worth doing in life is a process, and
Yeah,
and 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 it goes back to what we were saying before about the tilling, the focus, and
oh my
and all that
goodness.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then you really took your time with this. That's the difference between not the stereotype generations, but we have a generation where our grandparents grew up where there was no microwave. They cooked something in the oven, and it took all day. But guess what? It was delicious as hell. Like
Healthy too.
and
Yeah.
healthy.
Oh,
When grandma finished that cooking all day and she marinated the end result was worth the wait,
yeah.
right?
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
end result was worth the wait. And so I appreciated hearing that story and the focus and the attention and the time and detail that it took to, and I'm glad it grabbed your attention in that way. um when you look, what is one good way to grab your attention now? Like, because I know you were telling us about them, but what would you say is one good way to grab your attention now?
So like me as a businessman
Or
or
just you as an
person?
individual, as a person, what's one good way to grab your attention now?
No, that's a great question. What grabs my attention now is people who I see who have come up with approaches to help master whatever they're doing. Because I understand that and what I'm trying to do. Um, there's a lot of little things every day that go into what I do that people,
Mhm.
unless they're in the business, they would understand. If they're, most of the time they kind of notice, but they don't notice like how many little tweaks that I'm going through. But
Mhm.
I'm doing that intentionally because there's a standard that I'm trying to get people accustomed to. It's not just like when you
Mhm.
look at this, you can't tell the quality. But if you were next to me and I say, hey, man, Terrell, go ahead, fill this, whoa, right? And
Yeah.
so that's one way to grab them. The other way to grab them is the visual. The visual, it's gotta look like, ooh, gotta, grab them on the look, right? And then the other way, again, to grab them is the meaning. What does it mean? Because some people want meaning. Some people just want it to look good, all good. I, I'm going to give them that too. But some people want the meaning behind it. It surprises me how many people are like, what does it mean? And I tell them, they're like, yes, I want to be a part of it. And so
Mhm.
understanding like what it takes to be great at anything and studying the different people who found greatness.
Mhm.
Like I'm an athlete, so fitness
Right.
and athletics are in my background. I've been at fitness and athletics all my life. So when I look at like people like Jerry Rice, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Steph Curry,
Man.
Kobe Bryant, Alicia Keys, Deion Sanders. Look at what he's doing for Jackson State. So
Oh, he's
absolutely,
doing amazing things with
yeah, yeah,
Jackson
yeah.
State.
Barack Obama. I read his book twice.
Yeah.
I read his book twice. God, I'm sorry, I just drew a blank. I think what's it called? The Freedom Nation. It's a book about it's a book based on his diary that he took in his last, I think, 2 years in office, but it chronicles his movement or his career path into politics, into the White House, and then the last few years with him and Michelle in the White House. And I learned so much from Barack Obama moving on his vision and his dream when nobody gave him a chance, even his own wife. Michelle was not. You read the book, guys. You read the
She
book.
like, you crazy.
She wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, good job at a law firm, have a nice house, send the kids to a great school, take vacations. That was her ideal of a great life until after he won the Democratic nomination. She started to kind of think like, well, he might have a chance. Until then, she was just ready for him to get out, and it was his own staff that had to get in her ear like, your husband can be the first. Like they had to consistently, because she wasn't buying into it. I look at that like that's why we got to keep striving and like look at the people who are alive who have done it. And again, for me not to read Barack Obama's book would be like crazy, because I took so many nuggets out of his journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it sounds like there's a lot of things that help to equate. You get on this path to greatness, from the books to the to the sermons that you were listening to, the positive stuff that you had going in your ear. Like if somebody's in that space where like just like you were in, where life is just not working for them, they got like they want to be in fitness, or they used to be in fitness, but they fell off, the relationship's not going, the money's not working right. Who should they start following to really grow into who they
I
need to
love
be
it.
in their seeds of greatness?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Yes, this is a question I get asked a lot. So, who should you follow? First things first. If you're not sure what your next steps are, I highly encourage everyone to take a moment and get silent. You gotta feel yourself first. And what I mean by that is you gotta get your thoughts aligned to you, meaning just be settled for a little bit. And once you get settled, things will become clear, because you'll be able to hear a lot better and see a lot better, not necessarily with your two eyes, but just with your mind, in terms of where you need to put your energy at. And then I really believe once you get that, or at least get going in that direction, now you can start asking questions. For me, it started with reading and researching videos on information or subjects that I was interested in. So that's another thing. Don't discount what you're interested in. If you're interested in something, I encourage you stay interested in it, because a lot of times that thing will help you find the other thing, or even better, it'll attract the thing that, right? It'll attract the thing that will, that's meant for you to have and meant for you to be a part of. And that's really, I think, also when you start to figure out your greatness, is when people see you like, man, yo, you are kind of nice on that guitar, or you know what, yo, man, like you getting all the A's, dude. I see you doing big things, and then that's where people start seeing like, okay,
Mhm.
you know, this guy said he was going to do this, or this lady said she had a plan to become a doctor. You know, now she's in medical school, top of her class. But, you know, when those type of things happen, the beautiful thing is you get confident because of all the steps you've taken, and you've earned that confidence. And that's
Yeah.
where the value is at, you know? Yeah.
So true, so true, and I love that you
Yeah.
said that, like, because so many people chase things, but if you focus on you get silent, you silence the noise and everything around you, and you have the confidence in your vision, or you start to develop that vision. There's a difference between chasing things and attracting things, and you
Oh,
want to get to that
woo.
attracting things. There's a whole nother story about, we can go into further deep, the laws of attraction, and getting into flow, but we won't go there. But I loved everything you were saying. Now, go
We're
ahead.
already kind of talking about that, but yeah, I mean, you know, you're right. So law of attraction, you guys, if you haven't read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, that's a very good one because it has like at least 7 or 8 chapters in there. And
Uh-huh.
so there's a lot of different ways God talks to people. I can't leave God out because he's the whole reason
Yes.
why I got this.
Amen.
So God can hit people in a lot of different ways, and I realize that not everybody grew up in church, not everybody even believes in God, but there's a lot of people, even though they say they don't believe in God, they have the godly principles, so this still resonates with them, and you know what? That's when it's all good because, like, again, like people who are, you know, believers and, you know, they walk in their faith, and even people who are not believers but they want something bigger in their life, it still resonates, and that's what I wanted. Something, you know, people that just, you know, looking to help better themselves can get into, you know.
Yeah. And I honestly believe that everybody believes in something. Whether you have to believe in something that's higher than yourself to
Yes,
really
yes.
get in tune, like spiritually, or with your essence or whatever. So whether it be Mother Nature, science, whatever, like whatever your thing is, like
uh,
that is the essence of believing in something higher than yourself, that allows for this work that you've done to happen. So you don't have to necessarily believe in God, but believe in something higher than yourself.
oh yeah, yeah. He's still around you even if you don't believe it.
Yeah, exactly. What would you say your top five values are as a leader or influencer or creator? Because I put you in all those buckets because I feel like everything that you said so far puts you as a leader and influencer and creator. So I don't know, what's your top five values?
Oh, that's a really good question. That's a really good one. Thank you for asking that too. I think leadership, in my opinion, one would have to be, you know, integrity. I've learned the hard way what happens when you don't have it.
Hmm.
You know, so I'd rather have it than not have it because if, you know, especially doing something like this, if I can't
Hmm.
follow through on my own promises that I make to myself, then, you know, I don't want to be faking the funk, as they say. So integrity. And then this, I would say number two, um, character, meaning once you are following through on yourself, you know, now follow through with other people because you need people to navigate in this world. And so, you know, having character to you know, stand up and tell people what you believe in and what you don't believe in.
Hmm.
And, you know, the people that are going to respect you, they're going to respect you. The ones that don't, okay, that's just what it is. Yeah, let's see. Number three, I would say I would put having a plan, you know, the direction for your life or for, you know, who you're leading, like be able to see, okay, what people's strengths are, what where people maybe are not so strong in, and, you know, supporting them, you know, in
Hmm.
both areas. Communication would be four.
That's
Whew.
big.
I'm constantly learning like how to say things, and and how not to say things. Ooh, yeah, man. Ooh, yeah.
My
And then
wife
number,
is teaching me every single day, so I know the feeling.
whoa, yes, yes, yes. But they are the best teachers. Women are the best teachers because you know they're sensitive in that way. And so we're not all the time. I know I'm not. So yeah, sometimes I need some help. Help me out, baby. You know. And then I would say number 5 would be I would say like work ethic. Um, Work ethic meaning being willing to be lead from the front. You know, just don't talk the
Right.
game, but be willing to be out there and be there for people when they need you. Because people respect, you know, what they see, and
Yeah.
so you know if those things are all a part of you, you'll attract the people to you. You know, you'll attract what you're trying to build. And yeah, it's not easy. It takes a lot of energy, but shoot, it's worth it when you start to see it come alive. You know,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
like you, man. I see what you're doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So, my goal is just to amplify, amazing people like yourself because without you, there's no me. And I stand on the shoulders of all the ancestors and all of the amazing people who are Black history in the making right now, who
Yes.
allow for the next generation to stand on the platform and do whatever it is that they do. So I'm just
Can I
thankful
make
and
a
grateful.
comment real
Yeah,
quick?
go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Black business because man, our people are so gifted and creative. I'm just now realizing like how much has been stolen from us. Like you look at like what's popular now: hip hop music, sports, you know, even fashion, right? They're taking stuff from literally from Africa now and flipping it around and you know doing stuff in the fashion
Hmm.
world. I'm like, man, we come with all those gifts. Now, figuring out how to take those gifts and be business savvy, that's okay, that's another level because we don't get taught the business stuff, you know, unfortunately, until we get, you know, stolen from most of the time. But again, that's another subject. But again, I would encourage all my brothers and sisters who are watching, take business very serious because that is the link to, you know, going to the next level, being able to own ourselves, own our ideas. Our ideas are so valuable. Let me tell you, I know people are watching this. I
Hmm.
know, even though I don't make a like huge sales like Nike, hey, you know what? That's all right. But they're watching because when you know, they always want to see who's who's coming up. And
Right.
so, you know, like understanding the gifts that we have in this world, man, like even what you're doing, someone's watching,
Hmm.
they're watching because they got to keep an eye on who's the next guy up.
Right.
But that's part of owning ourselves. We should own ourselves. I'm just in this mindset now, like, why aren't we going after owning ourselves? Having a job is great. I have a job. I'm an
Hmm.
instructor. I teach at a college, but they're not going to own me for the rest of my life. I want to own myself.
Yeah. Ownership is key. Mastering one's time is key. And once you get to the
Yes.
point where you can control your time, he who controls his time has a ton of wealth. So
Yes.
so yes, you're on the right track. You're on the right path. Uh um I we will make a pivot to these career questions here in a second, but I got
Okay.
one more question out of curiosity. Just out of
Yes, sir.
curiosity,
Yeah,
what
bring it.
is your personal superpower? And when I say superpower, like what's that thing that you do better than most people?
Oh, that's a good one. Um, what I think I do well, I don't know if I do it better than most people, but what I think I do well is connecting with people.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I just have a natural curiosity to try to understand what makes people tick. Not
Yeah.
that I need to like them, but just like where's this cat coming from? Because I want to know, you know, okay, how do deal with or manage, or just, you know what, this is different than how I think. Let me understand a little bit. Maybe I might learn something, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe I might be like, nah, I'm not good with this. Either way, you know what, let me see first. So connecting with people. Yeah.
Man, I can see
Uh-huh.
that, because to be a seed for greatness, you have to be able to till the soil, connected it to the soil in a way that it can
Yeah.
grab roots and then grow. So
Yes,
I
man.
see, I
Yes.
see, I see where you're going with that. I see where you're going with
Go
that.
ahead, Surreal. Bam.
All right, so let's go back on the journey. Let's go back on the journey, because what I like to show, especially young people, they have this instant gratification kind of thing going on. And maybe not all young people, but some people come out and it's like, all right, I finished the degree. I put the time in. I should be here. I should be making this 80K. Or I got the idea. I connected with
Hmm.
this person. It should automatically pop, right? Just Herb give
Okay.
my design, my T-shirt. I'm gonna make the 100 grand, turn 100 grand to the million, and so forth. But I tell people it's not
Hmm.
always like that. Even some of your most successful people had some humbling beginnings. So
Hmm.
all that to
Yeah.
say, what was your first job?
Dishwasher.
A dishwasher? I would have
Mhm.
never guessed that. I thought you was like
Yeah.
in retail somewhere.
Yeah. No, no. Dishwasher. I got into retail for a little bit, but dishwasher.
Dishwasher's your first job? Where at?
Yeah. I worked for a camp in Pacific Palisades, just out maybe like 5 miles from Malibu, just outside of LA, just
Wow.
north on the coast. Yeah, so I was a dishwasher for 3 summers, all the way up until from 15 years old to 18 years old.
Oh,
And then I
man.
got a job at Subway Sandwich part-time when I was in high school. Worked for Rally's Burger for a little bit while I was in high school in summer.
Hey, I
And
still shout out the Rallies. I still love them Rallies fries. I might have to go get me some this weekend.
yeah, I'm bringing up some like the taste buds here, huh? Yeah. Well, those are
Ah,
the best jobs I could get because I didn't know a lot of people in terms of like having opportunities to like, you know,
mhm.
learn about clothing or learn about business or go work for a firm, law firm or a medical office. I didn't have those connections in my family. I
Man.
took what I could get,
Man, and look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you now. Like you went from that to where you're at now, to be able to build a meaningful brand that's going to connect people all across the globe. I feel honestly, because they're
Wow.
going to
Thank
resonate with your message. Um,
So just so you know, I'm actually halfway around the globe.
really,
Yeah. So I have customers in Norway, UK, Canada, Japan. I want to say
wow.
Mexico, but I feel like they live in San Diego and they drive to Mexico. I'm maybe I
I
don't know. Yeah.
Rise Urban Nation. I know I got fans all across the globe too, UK,
Yeah.
Nigeria, Japan, all over. So if you listening,
Okay.
and when
Yes.
I drop this episode and I put the
Yeah.
links, y'all make sure
Yes.
y'all support, so we could get my boy all the way over the globe. I didn't even know
Oh
he was
man.
halfway across. And you see how I put that in the universe, and how the universe just rewarded us right there.
Yeah, man, I love it.
So here's where I want to, because you're gonna inspire some young kid who's going to listen to this episode. You probably might inspire somebody who's going through that life transition as well,
Mm,
and they probably had this seed for greatness, or this idea for greatness. Not necessarily a T-shirt idea like you, but
mm,
some idea that they have.
yeah.
What steps would you what steps, or what's some advice you would give to someone who would like to start a career in your industry, that has an idea for, like, I don't know, design, fashion,
Mhm.
t-shirt, whatever it is.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's a great question. So first things first, I'll say this, that originally I did not plan to do a business. This was just literally a passion project that
Hmm.
I wanted to feel good about. But then as time went on and people were encouraging me to do more shirts and hoodies and stuff like that. Well, actually, it was just the shirts. The hoodies and
Mm-hmm.
hats and stuff came later. And
Mm.
so I came to understand that's how businesses start, with something you're passionate about. And
Mm-hmm.
I was so nervous because I don't know anything about, making t-shirts and stuff. I'm just following a dream, a passion that God put on my heart.
Right.
And that led me to humbling myself and asking as many people as I could for help. And
Yeah.
that was a huge, huge key because me, I'm, Mr. Sometimes I could think like I know it all, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's where I get problems. But this was a situation where I knew I didn't know it all, and I knew very little. So I needed to ask people for help and be humble for whatever they told me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just tried to, soak up as much as I could. And then I tried to read on my own, and I would take what I read and talk to people. Hey, here's what I read. What do you think about this? Um, and so again, like just my own passion and natural curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
that steered me in the direction of starting a business. And then as I started the business, I started to learn like, okay, if you want to be successful, okay, yeah, you're gonna have to, put certain things in place, like, websites, social media. But that's the stuff people see. The stuff that people don't see, which is important, is again, putting a plan together, putting a budget together, figuring out like what actually makes money for your product, because you want to get it out there, but you want to get some resources back so that you can buy
Mm-hmm.
more product, and that eventually, it'll pay you enough where hopefully either you can live on or have enough to like do big things and then impact more people, because as more people want it, you're going to want to do more. And
Yeah.
so yeah, understanding, the work that you need to put in, but then also understanding like um, getting good at the things that the business, needs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I mean, that's where I'm at right now. So I'm still learning. There's still, people I go to and ask. Oh, other big thing, creating relationships. So
Mm.
I actually really enjoyed talking to people and learning about people. So that part didn't come hard to me, but that became
Yeah.
a valuable piece for me, because as I created the relationships, people were bringing to me different, ideas, different connections, different resources, customers that, hey, they might be interested in this. So create, you know, a team around you, or a base of, you know, people you can work with and call a team,
Yeah.
create a team. Yeah.
Yeah. Like nobody succeeds alone, so and there's no I in team. So if you can get the right people around you, that inspire you and help you achieve your goal, that's amazing. Like I heard somebody say the other day, like, if you have a group of people around you, you don't feel inspired, you have a cage, you don't have a circle. And I was like, whoo, that hit differently.
Wait, say that again. I want to hear that one more time. Say that again.
I was like, if you have a bunch of people around you, you don't feel inspired, you have a cage, not a circle.
Yo, man. See, I'm like, you know what? I heard it, but I need to hear that one more time. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's good.
means you
Drop
being
it.
caged in. You don't have a fluid circle around you that allows you to feel inspired and go out and create and do all the things you need to do. So just to analyze that a little
Yeah.
bit deeper.
Wow. See, you dropping nuggets too now, man.
I didn't mean to. You brought it out of me.
When did you first start liking to drop nuggets, man? Because that was a good
All
one.
right. Now, what would you say was the most important or key steps that helped you be successful in starting your business, your t-shirt business, and everything that you've been able to accumulate today? Like if you had to give them like the like three, I don't know, three steps that really helped you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so business wise, I would say, and this is again just researching what I've heard, people who, have, good companies because of their products. They've all said, you know what, make a really good product. Figure out how to make
Mm,
your product better than everybody else. So that's the process I'm in. When I buy wholesale for my apparel, I pay more, but again, I'm creating a standard that when people see my apparel and they feel it, they know. They can't say, "Oh yeah, you know what? You got that down from the, swap meet down the street." Because as soon as they feel the material, they're gonna be like, "Nope, that's not a seed for greatness. No, 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 no." Because it
Mm-hmm.
usually feels like this. It has this. There's distinctive things that I intentionally make sure
Mm-hmm.
go into every piece of clothing because I
Mm-hmm.
design it. I do the heat press on it. Sometimes I'll do screen printing. If I do that, then I pay somebody. But this one's heat press, so a lot of times people can't tell the difference if you get it really good. And it took me time to figure it out, but you can't tell. But when you feel it, you're like, whoa, no, that's legit. And that's the response that I've learned. You got to get out of people. You got to get them so like excited where it's like, man, I've never seen that anywhere. It's so cool. I love the way it feels. I love the meaning because once you get people like that, now when you come out with the next thing, you already set a standard. And you want to get people as passionate as you are. Because before I'll just be like, yeah, I got a little clothing line, and that's exactly how people responded to it. Until a friend of mine told me, hey, man, you know what? What you're doing, not everybody's doing. It's really special. You need to rethink how you're presenting it to people. Because if you come out lackadaisical like that, they're gonna respond to the same energy. And then when I started thinking
Mm-hmm.
about it, I was like, man, you know what? He's right. And so I changed up my energy because I realized I put late hours into this. I put a lot of thought into the designs. I do mock designs before I actually, put it out there. My logo is trademarked, so someone can, try to duplicate it, but don't get crazy because you're gonna owe me.
Mm. No, don't let me see the lawyers out.
Like, you
Often
know what?
imitated but never duplicated.
Yeah, actually, you know what? If they want to like go ahead and do a whole bunch of stuff, I'll be like, okay. I'll give you a couple months, and then I'll be like, thank you for doing all that work, but that's actually mine. But you know what? It goes back to again owning, right? Owning ourselves. And my brother's friend who told me about who helped me create the logo, the graphic artist, man, highly encouraged me to trademark my idea. And I thought he was crazy. I was like, man, this is just a passion project. He's like, you don't understand. That's how things grow. That's how things literally get big by people just passion. He's like, your logo, man. If someone takes that and trademark it before you do, and they actually do something with it, he said, that happens all the time. He's like, protect your stuff because if you really want to go do a lot of things with it, now you actually own it. And if someone wants to buy it from you, okay, you created the value. So you know what? Pieces of advice like that, again, like I don't think like that, but I have the people around me that do. So that's why I would encourage your audience, if you have a great idea, you want to move on it, trademark it, protect it, because this value, that's how things grow and that's how things get created in this world, by
Yeah.
ideas.
Look, I have a whole testimony to that. I second that story because when I first started this podcast, it was under a different name. And then
Okay.
like towards the end of the first year, I had a lawyer hit me up with a cease and desist because somebody had the name trademark and
What?
they was about to use it for something else, but it hadn't got
Uh-huh.
they haven't blew it up yet. And so they're like, wait, somebody's using our name. Like, no, make sure he got it.
Whoa.
I was like,
Are
well,
you serious?
and here's the
Whoa.
crazy thing about it.
Yeah.
Like when I registered the business name, there was no
Uh-huh.
business registered, at least in California, underneath that name, right?
Okay.
And so don't confuse people. Don't confuse registering your business as trademark. Trademark is totally different from registering the business. Like
Okay. Yeah.
so there's two different entities in
Yeah,
that. And
that's
so
true.
I learned how. Well, I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know, but now I know. And knowing is half the battle.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? That's good, man. Yeah. You know what? Thank you.
What?
That's true. Yeah.
So
That's
so
true.
everything you telling right now, you preaching to the choir. So I definitely understand that, and I back him 100% on that message.
Yeah, because your experience tells you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, what's one good lesson life has taught you?
Um, Actually, there's a couple good lessons. One that comes to mind is go towards your fears. Don't run from your fears. Whatever scares you, go find out how to attack it and conquer it. Because
Mm,
that's an area where you definitely can find your greatness. Um, I do boxing. I just started jujitsu as well. I do these things not to beat people up, but
mhm,
to create a strong mental uh, ability,
mhm.
because it requires training and discipline, all those things, stamina, and so
Yeah,
I'm always looking for edges and that I can use in life, like tools that I can use in life, like
yeah,
different mindsets that give me that edge when things get tough. And
yeah,
again, like there's a lot of negativity pulling us in this world today, and if you can cultivate a mindset, where you really literally will take on anything that comes at you and you'll take it head on, you're
mhm,
a hard person to stop. You know, you'll be a hard person to stop. So that's an area where I would say, yeah, you know what? Look at what scares you, um, and figure out how to go conquer it.
yeah,
And on the other side, you'll find something spectacular. Um, for a lot of people, fear could be making money, fear could be going to school, fear could be getting in a good relationship. Whatever it is you fear, or just fear could be not admitting that you're wrong. Just think if you're able
mhm,
to become a person that goes from being so headstrong to being open and admitting, like, hey, you know what, I really didn't do a good job on that, or I said some things, I want to apologize because that wasn't right. Imagine what that'll do for your relationships around you. So whatever it is you fear, I say ask God how to go conquer it, because
yeah.
maybe that's the thing that's going to get you ahead.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think of your life testimony of what you've given, and I felt like on the opposite side of the struggle was always something better waiting for you. On the opposite side of the there was something
Oh,
better
yes,
waiting
sir.
for you, and and
Yes,
and
sir.
and and so don't run from the pain, run towards it. So because on the opposite side of that, there's something your greatness
Yes.
is waiting there for you on the opposite side of that. So life
Yes.
doesn't always happen to you; it happens for you. So you need to sometimes
Ooh,
go through that.
keep going.
so,
Keep going.
that's what I think about when that's what comes to my heart when I hear you speak and hear your story and your testimony. So, so I'm so grateful that you were able to share it with us today. Um, what do you think the future looks like for when you look at the future? What does it look like for you and what you're going to accomplish and create with this brand? What does it
I'm
look like?
so happy you asked that question, man, because I've been thinking a lot about that. My future looks like a future that's going to be one that gives me energy. It's gonna involve the people I want to be around that give me the right energy. Okay, it's gonna be involved in things that I like doing, and not just like doing. I want to do well. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Um, and it's going to be a continuous process of figuring or creating the next thing that is going to help me and help people around me be our best. I don't know what those things are, to be honest with you, but it doesn't matter. I just know that it's in front of me. It's in front of me. I
Mm-hmm.
got enough in front of me right now where once I get done, it'll be something else, and that's what I want my future to be. I don't want it to ever stop. When it stops, then you know what? Okay, God, He ready to take me, and when He's ready to take me, it's my time. But while I'm here, I'll be continuing to grow and make sure the things that I have in front of me that I do well. Because now it's really about me feeling good about myself. And I found the way that I feel good about myself is finding how to do something in the best way it can be done. Stop half-assing. Sorry, I'm in the cuss, but too many times we're accepting mediocre results, mediocre thinking, mediocre talk. Don't let people talk just mediocre around you. What I'm saying like that is when you get around people who are, talking about, oh, this person, they said that if, if they don't like me, then they can go screw themselves. Well, you got to be conscious of who's talking around you and what they're talking about, because if they're not talking about productive things and things that are you know you know helpful for you to hear and digest and take in, again, that's part of all that you're taking in. If you keep taking in stuff like that, guess what? It's going to influence you.
Yeah.
you know and then get to the point where if someone does start talking crazy and they're just talking about what they can't do and this and that, rebuttal, go like, well, why not?
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Who cares? You know what? So what if you're 60, you're a black woman? Why not? Why can't you be an astronaut? Who said you couldn't? I say go for it. No, that's crazy. No, it ain't. So what? I mean, yeah, be crazy. If it's for a good reason,
Yeah.
be crazy. Go for
Well,
it.
shoot,
I'm just saying.
when you break down the word impossible, it really says I'm possible. So if you think about it,
Oh,
I'm possible.
I'm possible.
It's not impossible.
Wow.
I'm possible. But I have to be able to see the greatness in myself to know that I'm possible. So,
Yes.
I you know, man, I'm about to go into a whole nother episode. All right, let's do this. Let's end it off like this, because me and you could probably talk for hours. I get out here
Yeah,
feeling
yeah,
energy,
yeah. I don't want to take up
but
too much of your time.
I'm not. My podcast is not a Joe Rogan podcast. I can't talk for 3 hours, and I don't know if people will listen. But so let's break it down like this: what
Uh,
projects are you currently working on, and where can people
okay.
find you?
Oh, I appreciate you asking. So, people can find me on these following social medias: Instagram, Facebook. Instagram is where I'm probably most active. I have actually a podcast I do live on there. So I do one usually 2 to 3 times a week. I was doing more, but I just right now it's kind of hard to manage
Oh,
time wise.
wait, can I get on the podcast?
Absolutely, man. It's. I mean, that's a must. Okay, what day? First of all,
All right, we're gonna set that up offline. But all
we'll
right, go
set
ahead.
that
Sorry,
up.
didn't mean to.
I love it. Okay, so you guys tune in. Terrell's coming on. It's gonna be cool. So yeah, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and everything I'm mentioning, you can just type in seed, the number 4 greatness, all right, and it'll pop up. Then I also have a website. Took me damn near forever to get it up. I don't care, but I was determined to do it myself. I probably should have hired someone, but I got my mode. So I finally got the thing up. And you guys can actually go on there and purchase apparel. I have videos on there people can watch with different people that I've interviewed, and we talk about different subjects of life that have to do with being your best, understanding yourself, relationships. Because, like I said, it ain't just a show and tell; it's an action type of brand. Man, this is action. I want y'all to see it in motion. I want you to go on the website and go like, man, this brother, wow, okay, everything he talked about in the podcast with Terrell and everything I saw on IG is backing up what I saw on the website. Yes, it
It's
has to
like
coincide.
poetry in motion, ladies and gentlemen. Poetry in
Poetry in
motion.
motion. It has to coincide.
Wow.
If
I
it
love it.
doesn't, it ain't gonna be good enough for me. I have to look at it and go like, yeah.
But I love it that you have that much passion, dedication, persistence, and just critique and building the brand to the what it is today. That's what King Kufi said. Like you gotta check this out. You gotta check this out. And I was like, okay, let's check it out. My brother, it was a pleasure just to
Yeah,
be
you too.
in conversation with you today. For everybody who's driving who didn't get any of that, don't worry. I'm gonna email his brother, get all the links so that it's in the show notes so you can connect with them. Any last words of wisdom for the people before we sign off?
Last words. Last words. I love last words. Trust that God has you here on this earth for a reason. Trust that. Do everything you can to find out what your purpose is and how you can share it with the world around you.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Trust that you have a purpose.
Yes,
This is
sir.
your seed for greatness.
Seed4Greatness.
And let's go fulfill it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This has been another episode of Rise Every Nation, and we'll catch you on the next time.
Wakanda for life.
Oh, yeah.
Oof.